So what are we going to talk about today? Oh, there were a couple of big signings. A couple more guys that got away from the Rangers. Let's talk about that and so much more next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Yesterday, they spent some money, so that's a good thing, right? I like to see them add, but none of that money will pay any dividends anytime soon. We'll talk about that today, too. It's the DLLS Sports Studios, DLLS Rangers podcast, and look at here. Oh, we got Mike Bacsik in the house today. So glad to have you back. You've been here to Mexico, and I don't know where all and back. So
I was checking the Mexican Winter League for some prospects.
How's it looking? Everybody good?
I talked to my buddy Chris Coast.
Right.
He's a coach down there. But I was going on a vacation with my wife last week, which was awesome.
That's fantastic. And the Queen's here, but she's training Kit. And so we've got all kinds of stuff going on in this studio right now. We're glad to have Kit, the Queen. Cat is here. Kit and Cat. We got a Kit Kat right over here. Which, is pretty tasty. Maybe after the show, a Kit Kat.
Well, I got to lose some weight before this season starts.
You do? You got to get in playing shape?
Yeah, I got to get in playing shape. I got to get on my 30 seconds on TV shape before the game starts.
Just button that coat tight. Oh, so you guys don't wear coats anymore, do you?
I know. Look, I got on like one of the Ranger Sports
That's
Network.
basically what you wear.
Yeah.
For all those years, they made me wear ties. At the outdoor ballpark, I'm wearing a tie every year, and now no ties. All right, so that makes me jealous. All right, so the Rangers did not get, to the surprise of no one, they did not get Kyle Tucker.
Mother Tucker.
You can't say that. Oh, I guess you can. I don't know. Cat's the arbiter of that, and she didn't yell. So Kyle Tucker goes to the Dodgers. $240 million. This is unbelievable.
For 4 years. Like, if you would have said 10 years or 8 years, that would make somewhat sense.
Yeah.
When I saw 4 years.
4 years. And, there's some deferred money, not a ton, compared to, like, Shohei, who's getting $68 million a year for, like, 15 years after he retires. But there's some deferred money. But for the most part, it's now. And in the AAV on this contract, Mike, considering all the deferred money and how that all factors in, $57 million a year. And the Mets are over there kind of going, we've offered him $50 million a year, and if he doesn't want that, and we're all I was thinking, not many other people that are going to offer 50.
Yeah.
And in swoop the Dodgers at essentially 57.1, which is $6 million more than Juan Soto's AAV.
It's
amazing.
It's
unbelievable.
It's amazing where we're at, and I think some of the owners have to look at this and go, oh, no. Not just the Dodgers, because when we get to Bichette or Alex Bregman, so you're looking at now borderline all-star players. Like, they might make the all-star team this year, but, probably never going to make the Hall of Fame. That's a $40 to $45 million a year player. That's what you have to pay to get borderline all-star players. Now, if you want all-star players, possible Hall of Famers, you're looking at $60 to $75 million a year. It's what the market is telling us.
Wow.
And so that's now
that's daunting.
That's what, like, I look at the WAR of Wyatt Langford last year.
Yep.
Wyatt Langford's a $30 million player next year. Now, if he was a free agent, he would probably get $60 million a year, and because of his age, he would probably get $600 million. Like, let's just be honest. In today's market, Wyatt Langford somehow became a free agent. He would probably get 10 for $600 million. Where we're at in today's market. But if you want to give his value based off of WAR or where he's kind of at, in just a 1 year. Like the Rangers are going to pay him $1.5 million or so next year. I'm not sure his exact number, but very low. But he's like a $30 million player in today's game.
Yeah, and that's why this would be a really good day to lock him up. I don't know if he or his agent are at all interested in that, but do the old Tampa Bay Rays trick and what the Red Sox started doing last year, right? Sign these young guys to long-term deals that will be very team-friendly at the end of it.
I'm going to say a bad name if you're a longtime Rangers fan, but he was kind of one of the first ones to ever start doing that. And when I was drafted by Cleveland in 1996, the general manager was John Hart.
Yep.
He started doing that with his Kenny Loftons and his Jim Thomes. Obviously, later he lost Albert Bell. He lost Manny Ramirez. But he did a lot of those deals when he saw in the mid-90s that he might have something special with the development of his farm system, and started locking in guys earlier before they got close to free agency. And then it was just a trend that has continued throughout baseball, because you look at a guy like Ronald Acuna Jr. I know he's been hurt a lot, but that guy's a $60 to $70 million a year player when he's healthy. And they got him at I can't remember, like 16 to 18 million a year.
Locked him up. And look, 16 to 18, especially when you're a 20-year-old, 21-year-old kid, like, oh, yeah, that's great. But you're worth more. So is Wyatt Langford. That's why you sign him up now. Ray Davis, try to get that done. We're going to talk about the overall impact of some of this stuff a little later in the show. We want to get to that. And also yesterday when Mike and I were just chatting about the show, he brought up some concerns regarding what this team is going to do against left-handed pitching. Still need a right-handed bat, but I don't think that's coming, right? So we'll talk about that in the second segment. Of course, cleanup comes in the last segment of the show. But so then, the ink's not even dry. Maybe he hasn't even signed it yet on the Tucker deal. And Bo Bichette signs with the New York Mets. Yeah, son of a Bichette, man. You got him. You got him.
I came in here prepared.
I see what you did there. So I'll be darned. And he gets, and by the way, we didn't mention this in the Tucker deal, opt out after 2 years. So basically, in the first 2 years, if it's $57 a year, he can make $114 million in 2 years and then do this again if he wants to.
Yeah.
Right now, is anybody going to go north of $57 million? Maybe by that time they will, but probably not. But in the case of this Bichette deal, it's a 3-year, $126 million deal, and he has an opt out after year one, a la Alex Bregman last year with the Red Sox. Is this the wave of the future?
Yeah.
These really high deals, but they're short term.
Yeah.
So the team wins by not having to sign you up for a 10-year deal and having, the back half of the Albert Pujols deal or the back half of the Josh Hamilton deal or the entire Anthony Rendon deal. Interesting that the Angels did all those deals. But anyway, you don't have to have the bad back end of a deal if you have a shorter term deal. But the trade-off for the player, I'm out after 1 year if I don't like it.
Yeah, so it's interesting because you can make the most money by signing short-term deals. You are taking a gamble on your health.
Sure.
Because if you were to, let's just say Mike Trout were to have done something like this, I'm just going to take 3-year deals.
Sure.
Well, he would have made more money in those 3 years. But now he would be in a really tough position because everybody would be looking going, you're going to give us 80 to maybe 100 games. We're not even sure if you're going to give us that many.
Yeah.
Your body is totally broken down. You can't play a position anymore. So the gamble is let's make as much money as possible in a few years and gamble on myself being able to keep doing this. Because what Kyle Tucker could do, and I don't know this, is after 2 years go, you know what? I'm getting a little bit older. Now I want a 7-year deal. Instead of 55 to 65 million a year, I'll do 45 a year. I'll give you that because I know I understand I might not be the player that I am now 7-8 years from now.
Sure.
We'll just spread it out over time. And teams have decided, let's just give them all of it now.
Yep.
And if we can defer it, some of it, and the Dodgers are able to do that.
Yeah, no, in Bichette's case, no deferred money at all. Not that the Mets are unwilling. I think Bichette was, wanted that. And by the way, The Phillies thought they had him last night.
Yeah.
They had a 7-year, $200 million deal on the table.
Yeah.
And how disappointed is Dave Dombrowski and the rest of that front office when all of a sudden the Mets swoop in and, 7 for 200. That's not quite 30 per year, right? So these guys swoop in with over 42 million a year.
And don't you have to worry about that, though? I mean, I'm not a owner, general manager, president of baseball operations, but when you see a team lose a player, the Mets thought they were going to get Kyle Tucker. You just talked about what they offered. Well, all of a sudden, they, in their mind, I'm going off of what I think, they're like, well, we have this money spent. We're spending $220 million over 4 years on Kyle Tucker. Wham, gone. He's going to the Dodgers. Hey, man, we were like 220 in. What do we do now? And so I think if you're the Phillies or another team that think they have like a Bo Bichette or, like I'll throw up Framber Valdez is still a free agent.
Yep.
He's a great pitcher.
Yep.
Kind of a, head case. But you have to worry about teams when they think they have a player and lose them. So the Phillies lost. But if you're a team, maybe Framber Valdez, because Ranger Suarez just left and he went, like you have to now worry about the Phillies. If you're Houston, you think you're getting Framber Valdez back, or you're another team in on him, you have to worry. The Phillies lost their left-handed starting pitcher, just lost when they thought they got Bo Bichette. They might just swoop in and give Framber Valdez all the money and go, we don't even care about you as maybe a teammate. We just need to make a big splash and you're a good player on a short-term deal.
Yeah, and that is huge in some of those big traditional markets, right?
Yeah.
Or fan bases like the Mets. I mean, this was huge for the Mets to get this done. There was some, social media chatter about, oh boy, Marcus Simeon's got to be freaking out, right? Because Bo Bichette has never played third base in his major league career. He's been a shortstop and a basically middle infielder,
right.
Shortstop and second base. But the reports all out of New York are that Bo Bichette's going to play third.
Yeah.
And he can handle third.
I assume so. It's usually a position, I think of Cal Ripken Jr. I know Alex Rodriguez went there because of Derek Jeter, but it's usually a position that a shortstop and maybe they're losing that shortstop range or something like that. Third base, they're still on the same side of the field. I feel like it's a bigger adjustment at times. You could ask infielders to go to that right side of the field because now you just see the game from a whole different perspective, the way the ball's off the bat and sometimes your responsibilities. But I'll say this, I like Bo Bichette. I don't love Bo Bichette.
I love his stick. I mean, he's a hitter.
He is, no doubt about it.
But I don't like who played third for them?
Was it Beatty? Yeah.
Last year.
They're thinking about maybe moving him to first or using him as possible trade bait for pitching.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this. The Mets, I don't know how good they're going to be. I did like when we went to New York, and I believe the Rangers swept. No, they lost the last game. Pete Alonso hit a walk-off homer, but took 2 out of 3. That's when the Little Rascals were on a run.
Yeah.
I like the young pitching I saw there. There's potential.
Boy, that's amazing. But that's also trade bait.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
I don't
one
know
of
if you're going to trade it, but
where I don't want to get into Mets talk, but sometimes when you get to see other teams, you see some of the potential young players that could flourish. And if you're the Rangers looking at this and where their budget is at, you got to figure out, you talked yesterday about International Signing Day. You have to figure out how to international sign and how to draft all-stars.
Yep.
If you want to do this and not compete with the Mets, the Dodgers, the Phillies. I know the Red Sox have gotten some heat for losing Bregman, losing Devers stuff, but you can throw them in there. Your big-time markets that want to spend a lot of money. If you don't want to compete in the marketplace with them, you have to develop all-star players, and they have to become all-stars in their first 5 years of their career.
Wow. Yeah.
Because that's when you get the 6, I don't want to say free years, but you get 6 years where you don't have to worry about them leaving your organization.
Right. And you need to begin at least. They did it a little bit with Rugi, but they haven't done it very often and that was a mistake as it turns out, but they haven't done it often where they lock up a young player like a Wyatt Langford. It just needs to be locked up if they can do that.
Well, if you just look at the history of the Rangers after that 10-11 run, and you could kind of push it a little bit more. 12, they were the best team in baseball. The last 2 weeks was just devastating.
Horrible. Yeah.
Is they have struggled from that point to develop really good players.
True.
Yes, you have Mazzara, you have Odor, you have Gallo. That was supposed to be a foundation, and it didn't work. But you just kind of look, and the reason that the Rangers had to go get Corey Seager and Marcus Semien is because they just couldn't develop any players. I remember my kid being at the ballpark in 2021, and he's like, what jersey should I get? And I'm like, I don't know who to, like, there was not a player on the team that you said, I want this jersey, or a kid wanted that jersey. And then 2022, you get Seager, Semien. It doesn't work out in year one. It obviously works out in year two, but they had to go buy players because they couldn't develop players.
Yeah.
And now you're hoping Carter, Langford, Leiter, Rocker, these high draft picks, besides Carter.
And Young, even Young.
Young, eighth overall pick.
Yeah. He can still develop, and let's hope he has a big year, really big year for him. We've got lots more coming up. We want to talk a little bit about that international class with Mike. Also, big news for single game tickets. That's coming next. And we'll also get to this lineup against left-handed pitching. It's all coming next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Hey, our friends at Qualis Roofing are helping to bring you this episode of the DLLS Rangers podcast, and we love Qualis Roofing. You know there are going to be storms this spring, and you're going to need a new roof, just like I did last year. And the best bet is to go with Qualis Roofing. This is a roofing company that's local. They're not out just chasing storms and trying to get the most roofs replaced. They're doing quality work every day, every time, every roof. We encourage you to call Qualis Roofing if you need a roof project. And they're about more than roofs. They're about communication, too. They'll keep you informed on every step of the process as you're getting your new roof. Just get a roof inspection and get a free DLLS T-shirt. Or if you get your work done by them, they'll give you either a Traeger smoker or a Blackstone grill. QualisRoofingGC.com is the place to go for your new roof. Oh, and Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is that simple, everyday play where you basically get to pick a team. You pick anywhere from 2 to 6 players across these various sports, and then you try to predict whether or not they will meet certain stat categories. So this weekend, you might be wondering if Bo Nix will have less than 1 interception, or if Josh Allen will have more than 400 yards of passing. I'd like to see Bo have more and Josh have more if I could, but that's just me. Anyway, Prize Picks is there for you. Pick these teams, 2 to 6 players, and if you're right, you get paid. Prize Picks is so great. Just download the app at DLLS and get $50 in free lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. We'll get to several of your questions coming up later in the program. We love to have you guys in the chat as always. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Jeff off today as he and the family are in Colorado with the big Broncos-Bills game happening this weekend.
Is he a Broncos guy?
Big Broncos guy.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to be fun for them and hopefully a fun game up there.
Who are the Cowboys playing in the divisional round?
They won't lose. Cat's right. They will not lose this weekend. So
go Cowboys.
I'm trying to remember if they have made the playoffs. Couple of quick things. The international draft class that the Rangers had, 20 players, most of them, Jeff and I talked a lot about them yesterday, but the Rangers are being lauded sort of nationally because for the 4th time in 5 years, they've gotten a top 10 player. And that's that Elian Rosario they got, who is listed as a I think he's listed as an outfielder, but he's mostly played shortstop. But I think they're moving him, not just the Rangers, but he's moving positions to outfield. But anyway, they got Michael Pineda's nephew, Frandel Pineda, and he was a pitcher that was in the top 50. He's a 47th ranked guy. And then they got 3 catchers, the highest ranked of which they're really high on, but they really need to replenish that class of catchers. And, from your day when you were coming up, this is a different animal now as far as this international signing day and all that kind of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess when you're a high school kid getting drafted and then you're, 19 to 21 years old in the minor leagues, you see the Latin guys come in.
Yeah.
You don't really know anything about them. You get told like, hey, this guy's supposed to be really good. And you're like, all right, let's see. It's kind of like,
sure.
yeah, people can pump up. It used to be just Baseball America. Like there was nothing else. There was kind of a newspaper. If you're younger, it was just kind of a newspaper that would come out once a month. And that was it. That was all the minor league stuff you would get. Once a year, they'd give you top 10 prospects. There wasn't top 30.
Or top 100 like now.
Yeah, it's just like, here it is. In fact, Baseball America would have to call organizations up. They would only know who teams drafted in the first round publicly. So they would have to call up agents. They would have to call up parents. They would know that a kid was good. And so Baseball America was trying their best to be like, who were even drafted in the top 10 rounds? It was just something like that. So, it's very different on how these prospects are covered. And, I'm kind of the, let's see. Yeah. We can say all these things, but let's see how they perform and produce.
The top guys got like $5 million, $4 million, $3.5 million signing bonuses. Yeah. So teams obviously think very highly of them. The highest that Rosario, I think he got 2.5 or 2.8, something like that.
I know it's not an international signing, but my son plays at Bishop Lynch High School. They'll be playing Prestonwood Christian. That's a very highly ranked school in the country for baseball. There's a kid who has transferred in from Oklahoma for his senior year. So if you want to go see somebody to Prestonwood Christian, who might be the Rangers' first round pick. Like, really? This is how good he is. His name is Savion Sims. He's 6'6", 6'7".
God, 6'7". Yeah, see, look at him dropping all this.
He is the hardest throwing senior in the country. He has touched 101 miles an hour.
Wow, and he's
a senior in high school.
A sure enough American kid, born in Oklahoma.
I'm assuming he was born in Oklahoma. He's committed to OU.
Okay,
sorry, Skip. Who is the head coach at OU. You'll never see that kid at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He's going to sign pro. Like when you're that tall and you throw the ball 100 miles an hour, those kids never go to college. No. But that's a kid that I'm kind of excited to see because I'm assuming where the Rangers pick, that could be somebody that.
And he'll be draft eligible this year.
Yeah.
This year in July or when the All-Star.
That's a kid he, I'm going to be honest. That kid's probably light years away from pitching in the major leagues. I'm going to give you an example. Jack Leiter and Kamar Rocker dominated the SEC.
Yeah.
The SEC couldn't sniff those two kids.
Right.
And when Jack Leiter came up to the major leagues, it wasn't pretty. Last year was really good.
Yeah.
But it took him 3 years to develop. And you look at Rocker, he's still trying to develop because of injuries. He hasn't been able to develop and be a consistent major league pitcher.
He hasn't been healthy since his sophomore year at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. It's been a tough road for him health-wise.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard. Okay, so also single game tickets go on sale Tuesday, the 20th at 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's for all the home games, excluding the home opener against the Cincinnati Reds. Now, if you want to have an early opportunity to get those tickets, well, if you subscribe to the Rangers Insider newsletter by Sunday at 11:59, so basically by midnight Sunday, subscribe to that Rangers Insider newsletter, and you'll have early access to the tickets, I guess, obviously, earlier than Tuesday at 10 a.m. I don't know how early. See if it says here. No, it doesn't say. But anyway, that's when you can buy your single game tickets if you're not a season ticket holder or anything like that. So that taken care of. When Mike and I were talking yesterday, he said, who do they, what's the batting order against left-handed pitching? I said, yeah, Jeff and I just had this conversation a day or two ago. And again, the Rangers have said, everybody's said, the pundits have said, we have said all offseason long, and even going back to last offseason, Rangers need a right-handed bat.
They need a Mike Napoli type of guy.
Yeah.
Napoli was brought in. He was better than expected, but he was brought in to hurt left-handed pitching. He ended up hurting everybody. That's how just good he was when they brought him in. But the Rangers need a left-handed, guy a right-handed hitting guy that just kills left-handers. That's like, man, his batting average is 300. His OPS is 1,000 or 900 against lefties, because this team is so left-handed.
Right.
When you look at their lineup. Their middle infield, which have to be right-handers, right? You have to play second base and short. You have to be right-handed, are both left-handed hitters.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And then two of your three outfielders that are, considered everyday guys, Carter and Nimmo, left-handed hitters. Yeah. So you just look at it, your DH that you're relying on to get a lot better than he was. Jock Peterson is a left-handed hitter who can't really hit lefties. He can draw walks against them.
Yeah.
We saw that last year, but you start looking and you're like, oh my gosh, you're going to Scooble pitches, you're done anyways.
Right.
Like just chalk that up to, I hope we can get his pitch count up that we can get him out in the 6th inning.
Yeah.
Max Fried pitches, you're done anyways. You're in big trouble. But your average left-handed starting pitcher, what's the Rangers lineup?
Yeah. So because you aren't going to play Evan Carter, right? Because
Probably not.
He hasn't proven that he can hit lefties. You aren't going to play Jock Peterson because he hasn't proven that you can hit lefties. And there are going to be days, as we talked about, and you pointed out to me yesterday, that you want to give, if you're going to give Corey Seager just a day, you want it against a left-hander, right? He's a left-handed hitter. And it would be the same with Josh Smith. Well, you can't take 4 guys out of that lineup, and yet the 2 seemingly are gone every day. So let's propose, and this doesn't get Seager out of there. Mm-hmm. And Nimmo's another left-handed hitter who you'd like to give a day off every once in a while. So here's, how about Wyatt Langford at first and hitting first, in center field. Seager, Young.
Okay.
So you're lefty heavy at the top. I might even. Nobody wants to see Seager hit third. I was proposing Seager at third the other day, so we get a little more left, right, left going.
I'm with you on the everyday lineup, like against a righty. I go Nimmo, Langford, Seager. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Because I'm splitting those guys up. Because guess what? I'm going to be lefty heavy at the bottom of my lineup.
Right.
So if I'm lefty heavy at the bottom of my lineup, the only guy at the bottom of my lineup that's not lefty is going to be the catcher, whether it's Higgy or Jansen.
Yeah.
So I got to watch out for, all right, you want to go Nimmo and Seager going 1-2. What if my 9 and 7 hole hitters are lefty too? Boy, if I got 2 good lefty relievers,
right.
I've really screwed over Skip Schumacher late in the game.
Yeah, no doubt. So Langford, Seager, Young in this case. Nimmo is going to be your cleanup guy on that day. Then Jake Berger, your catcher, not your DH, but it's the same position.
Mm-hmm.
Jansen, let's say.
Okay.
And then Duran. I have Duran in right field.
Okay.
I love his arm out there. I know he hasn't played a lot of outfield. And then Higashioka would be my DH. Yeah. And Cody Freeman at second in for Josh Smith. But that assumes Cody makes the opening day roster, which we discussed before the show isn't a given.
If you are 100% healthy out of spring training, which let's be honest, you're not going to be. We have no clue who's going to be hurt, and that's nothing against the Rangers. All 30 teams are going to deal with injuries in spring training. But if you know kind of who your 9 guys are in your lineup, obviously Peterson being the DH, not in the field, is you're going to have a backup catcher. That's player 10. I have 3 more spots left. Ezekiel Duran is going to be player 11.
Yep.
And now I'm going to have, do you say Haggerty or Hellman as your outfielder?
I might. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say.
Is one of them off the team?
That's the thing. I'd say Hellman has better upside as an outfielder, right?
Okay.
But I might need to keep both of them,
which
then eliminates Cody Freeman.
And it eliminates, I know people think of Alejandro Osuna.
Yeah.
Here's the deal about Freeman, and here's the deal about Osuna. They are young kids who showed potential last year, late in the year. Those were little rascals that helped you somewhat compete for a playoff spot till you went to Houston, and then that died, that series.
Yep.
I want them playing every day in AAA because guess what? People are going to get hurt. And you do have an injury history with the left side of your infield.
You do.
Young and Seager have gotten hurt a lot in their kind of 23, 24, 25 seasons. So you're going to need quite a bit of starts over there. Josh Smith has never been an everyday player in his life at a specific position. So that's a little bit of an unknown. Evan Carter is a guy who I love. I think there's a lot of potential. I think he can get better against lefties. I love his eye at the plate. You talked about that the other day. I was watching you guys talk about it. But he's going to need some days off with his back. Sure. He's a young man who's had back issues, and you got to watch that, especially because you play on turf. That is not beneficial for backs. No. So I just look at it and go, I need Osuna and I need Freeman playing every day. So when they come up, they are an everyday player because I'm probably bringing them up to play quite a bit.
Sure. Okay.
So I hear you with Freeman, and Freeman could be on the team, but I think it's tough because I don't know about Haggerty and Hellman's options either.
No, I'm not sure either.
The other thing, too, is Foscue.
Jeff would know that. Yeah.
Foscue might be out of options at this point, too. So are you just releasing him out or hoping he clears waivers, I guess?
The funny thing about him is when he was drafted, we're like, oh, man, he's bumping into a wall here because Simeon's in front of him.
Yeah.
He's a second baseman. I mean, he's drafted as a second baseman. He's played some first, too, but second base is his position.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost time to say, and it probably will happen in spring training, let's see if Justin Foscue can win this spot. And that complicates it even more, which is fine. That's a good problem to have. Yeah. But I would love not to have to put Josh Smith there. Josh Smith thrived in that role.
Yeah.
Maybe not late in the year, but he thrived in that role, for 2 straight years, basically.
It's going to be interesting because when you look at the average lefty against the Rangers, it's going to be tough to put together a lineup that you like
that
on
you
paper.
Feel great about. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. We've got more coming up as we get to how all of this big contract stuff has affected or will affect Major League Baseball in the future. It scares us a little bit. We'll talk about it next. DLLS Rangers podcast. First, though, we talk about the Supporters Club, and we encourage you to join said Supporters Club. You get all kinds of behind-the-scenes videos and so forth that we do back there, and we show you what goes on behind the scenes here. Kat had the one last week that is still out there. That is definitely still out there. I think it lives forever, but it's the current one, and it's about how her day goes when she comes in here and tries to wrangle this show together. She's got other duties too, but the only ones that she showed you were trying to keep us in place. The office is shown very prominently there, so you can kind of see where we are and what we do, and there will be chances for you to do that too with some watch-alongs and things like that we'll have in the future. Those generally happen when the team is good, like the Dallas Stars. So hopefully the Rangers will be good, and we'll have more of that kind of thing happening next year. But in the short term, figure out what our office layout looks like and get all the true sicko-level stuff by for $5 or $15 joining the Supporters Club today. And this newsletter is absolutely worthy. You need to subscribe to the newsletter. We talked about subscribing to that Rangers newsletter. Well, that's going to cost you. Ours is free. And all you have to do is go to alldlls.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page and put your email in that box down there, and we'll send you our newsletter each and every day. And Ali is taking it to another level. He's making fun of his guys on the Cowboys show. Like he showed a parking job, and the car was parked like 3/4 over the line, one spot, and kind of on an angle.
Okay.
He goes, which person on the Cowboys show do you think would have parked like this?
I'm going to guess Kavanaugh.
It's a good guess. I'm almost sure it was Clarence.
Okay.
And he said, you might be surprised, but I'm not. I mean, Clarence is always in a hurry and always running late. Anyway, it's cool. That's the kind of stuff you get. Newsletter. It's fun. So is this show whenever Mike Bacsik's here. Love having him here. Love getting your comments and your thoughts about all this. Also, I love the conversation that you have, without us over there. That's cool, too. The Foscue being drafted ahead of Carter, Leon, is a great point, right? I mean, Justin Foscue was a first rounder, right?
Yeah. He's the 14th overall pick. And I would say nothing against Justin Foscue. He's a very talented player out of Mississippi State. I would have a philosophy of, and this, once again, I want to make sure I like Justin Foscue as a person. Sure. I like his talent. I think he can be a major league player, probably a guy that helps you off the bench in a utility role than rather than an everyday player. But he's 26. Maybe there's still time to prove that later in his career. I would never draft second baseman, or let's just say like a left fielder and know that they can't really play any other positions besides maybe I can move them to first base or they're kind of a DH. I want athletes.
Right.
In my first 3 rounds, I am taking athletes. Can they play short? Maybe. Can they play center field? Yeah, maybe. And you know what? When I draft those guys, they're easier to move to other positions. When I draft guys where I'm like, well, he doesn't run very well in the outfield. I'm not sure if he's ever going to be able to play out there. Arm strength wise, he can't go to the left side of the field. He can't go play short. He can't go play third. Maybe his footwork isn't fast enough to do this. I could always kind of move him to first. I just, in the first, let's say 100 picks or so, I cannot take those players. I want athletes. I remember when I got recruited by certain schools, they would say, we only look at pitchers, catchers, shortstops, and center fielders. That's it. Because I can move those guys anywhere. So that's kind of where I got that philosophy from. It makes a lot of sense to me because you can find yourself in a position where, like, what do we do with this only second baseman guy if we have a guy there?
And right now, it seems like that positional versatility is a key in baseball.
Yeah.
The 16 Cubs, I think, started with just guys that could play and did play various different positions on the field. And I like the guy to have a position, but I like his ability to play others.
Well, I know this is going to be way too general. Let's just say there's 30 starting second basemen in the game. I know some guys aren't, they're just everyday guy, but there's 30 starting second basemen in Major League Baseball, and that is it. You can't be a guy on the bench that only can play second base. You just can't. You have to be able to play 2 other positions besides second base.
Especially since almost always one of your 4 players on the bench is only a catcher.
Yep.
Right? Almost
so now
always.
You're down to 3.
So you have
That's
3
where Zeke,
guys.
Sometimes you can get mad at Zeke and his hitting or whatever, but you know what? Zeke can play all the infield spots, and he can, besides center field, he can play right and left field. So he can play 6 positions.
And isn't he the emergency catcher too?
Yeah, I guess at one point Boach said maybe Langford because he caught.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
In fact, I'm going to get to interview Langford here pretty soon on the 24th at the.
Are you doing the interview with him?
And I want to ask him because Jack Leiter get to interview him because he's Rookie of the Year for the Rangers. Is Jack got to hit last year?
Yeah.
Would Wyatt Langford ever want to catch an inning in a major league game?
Yeah. I like that.
Instead of pitch, because he's like, he didn't pitch, like as far as I know, in high school or college. But would you ever want to catch a game?
Yeah. Probably not. Probably not. But it's all good. All right, let's talk a little bit more about what happened. Kyle Tucker signs, Bo Bichette signs. The Tucker one probably sends off more red flags for me, Mike, because it feels like, it's like the Rangers won in 23, and since then, the Dodgers have just kind of said, you know what, we're going to sign enough players every year to win every year, right? And I'm reluctant to say, and was last year, that the Dodgers are ruining baseball because any owner can still do this, right? Any one of them is allowed to spend as much money as they want. That said, I don't know. I don't know if we can continue like this where, again, teams are offering as much or more than the Dodgers, like in the case of Edwin Diaz, and he wants to go play for the Dodgers, right? All the good players just want to go play for the Dodgers. It's worrisome. Now, the Yankees have won 26 World Series. So, or is it 27 now? I don't even know, right? So
they haven't won in a long time.
They haven't. And they're not doing it the way the Dodgers are doing it.
Right.
But is it that bad if the Dodgers now start a dynasty, which it seems like they're on the precipice of doing? Okay,
so I'm going to be opposite of what you've seen on social media from everybody that's not a Dodgers fan. I am a Dave Roberts fan. Love him. But this is good for baseball. Okay. As much as people are mad and my team can't do that, okay, let's just look at, I don't like doing this. Let's look at the 2023 World Series ratings when it was the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers. Was not good. Yes, it was great here in the Metroplex. If you're a Ranger fan or Diamondback fan, it was awesome. But the baseball community did not care about that World Series.
No.
Then you got the Dodgers. Then you got the Yankees, and you got Ohtani.
Didn't we have a Dodger Yankee the next year?
And you had Judge and Soto, the two best players in the game in the World Series. You had Ohtani and Judge, but you also had Soto, arguably a top 5 player in the game of baseball.
Yeah.
And you had Betts, a top 5 player in the game of baseball for a long time, and Freddie Freeman. So you had all of this, and the ratings have exploded. In a way, the money has kind of exploded because of it. You have a team that either you love, if you're a Dodgers fan, or now you have 29 teams that super hate and they want to see them lose.
Right.
That is great for your sport. It really is. This isn't the NFL. It'll never be the NFL. You need stuff like this. I think the NBA, and I've seen where ratings have been pretty good with them. It's fun. You can just run all the way down the court with the basketball and never dribble. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
I have no interest in the NBA right now because there's no team to root against. There's no really superstar to me, there's no like Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I know he's still in the league, but there's just nobody right now that you're like, this might be the best player I've ever seen type of deal. And to me, it kind of goes, I don't really need to watch this that much. Right now, I feel like I want to watch those stinking Dodgers and I hope they lose.
Sure.
Or, God, I can't wait to watch the Dodgers. They have the best player in the game and they have all these guys to watch, and 1 through 9, their lineup is amazing. So I get it. I understand the other side of it, and that's where most people are at. This is, in a way, good for this sport of baseball.
So, yes, I agree with those points. Where I think it's bad for baseball is short term, at least, right? Other owners are freaking out about this.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause them, I believe, to try and dig their heels in when the collective bargaining agreement expires at the end of this year and insist upon a salary cap.
Yeah, I would tell, and I'm dead serious here. I think so many owners have no clue what 1994 was or about. They are 1 billion times or maybe 10 billion times smarter than me and you watching on how finances work and money and how to make it and how to spend it and all those things. They are the top 1% isn't even giving them enough credit.
Right.
But I don't know if they know the history of baseball. And you just mentioned Bo Bichette. Oh gosh, his dad played in 1994, didn't he?
He did.
So is he going to get a lesson on 1994? Tony Clark was part of Major League Baseball. I believe he was with the Tigers in 1994. I would tell these owners, just read up on what happened in 1994 / into the 95, starting the season late. Talk to my dad, who was in the 70s. There's a lot of kids that end up, their dads played Major League Baseball and they end up playing Major League Baseball. There's a lot of history. And I'll just tell you, if you think I know owners probably aren't watching this, but if you're an owner and you don't think that we get taught by our dad about what they sacrificed so we could have what they have and what you need to sacrifice, not only for possibly your son, but for the future of the game and the future of the players. I know this is extreme and I don't know the players today on where they stand. It's almost like we'll just quit the sport. We just won't have baseball anymore. Like if you want to force a salary cap because you've never been able to do it and maybe you think you're going to be able to do it in 2026, it's going to be tough to tell Bo Bichette, whose dad went through it and sacrificed so his son could have 3 years, $142 million?
Yeah.
Part of that sacrifice was his dad not going into a salary cap.
126. But here's the funny thing. He's making $42 million next year, this upcoming year. His dad made $42 million in his career.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty damn good career.
Yeah, his dad sacrificed so his son could do that.
That's right.
You're not going to sacrifice for the future, Bo Bichette? I get it. NFL players do not care about tomorrow. They don't care they don't care about any of the kids in college. They don't care about any of the kids in high school. They don't care about any of the players that played before them. That's just the way the NFL culture is. And it is awesome for the owners. And I know that Major League owners want the NFL system. And they want the players to not care about the players that came before them. And they don't want to care about the players that come after them. It's just not the history of the Major League Players Association. And I think that the owners can get some wins in this negotiation. I think that they can push the players in certain aspects, and the players will go with it, and it will help out the game and it'll help out the owners. But you can't push a salary cap. Maybe I'm wrong, but man, every time I've done it, every time that they've done it, it's almost like the history of the game says, just never play baseball again. And I'm not saying it's right, but that's the way it is presented to us as players. And I kind of want the commissioner to understand that. And I say new owners that weren't around in 94, 95. Because did you notice after 94, 95, for a good decade, because those owners kind of stayed owners, like, we're never pushing this again. We know it'll just stop the game of baseball.
Yeah. And that's not good. It's not good for anybody. Baseball's on a roll right now. The ratings for the World Series and even all the playoffs last year were fantastic.
Oh, amazing.
So, yeah, it would not be a good time for a work stoppage at all, that lasts into the season. If it just lasts through the offseason, whatever.
I know we might need to go to a little bit of a break, but just to add, isn't it interesting the owners would be mad at the Dodgers or mad at maybe the Mets or maybe mad recently now at Toronto? What does that have to do with the players? Are the players supposed to say, well, for the betterment of the game, I can't take that $60 million a year on Kyle Tucker? Yeah. They offered me it. Am I just supposed to say no for the betterment of the game? Let me go sign with the Athletics for $25 million.
No.
Wouldn't that be owners fight? It's owners. Owners are fighting owners more than fighting the players. Yeah, players are taking what they're giving them.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. All right. That's that. And that will be an ongoing story. And we'll always be glad to hear Mike's perspective on that. Meantime, we've got perspective on a lot of other things happening around the game of baseball today. Cleanup segment coming next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. And it's time for you to become a diehard. If you haven't already, it's cheap right now. It's cheap a lot of the time. And you can go there right now and you can get it basically for $3 a month. Unless you want the hat as your giveaway, then it's a little bit more. But those hats are nice, man. Those are really cool. The branded Bills ones in particular. Go there, get yourself a shirt or a hat for free, and get all the content that we put behind the paywall. It's all the stuff that's written, the written content that we have. And, the network started with a group of writers. Those were the first people hired by the DLLS people. And the writers provide all that content, and then they got us talking heads up in here.
Me no right good.
Yeah. So me no right good. Yeah. So anyway, those writers are great. Jeff's been around this beat forever. Clarence Hill around the Cowboys forever, and we've supplemented them with some youthful guys like Ali and Ron and Sam. So anyway, become a diehard. If you do that, you'll get a free T-shirt in addition to all the other benefits like 20% off of the merchandise and 20% off of all of our events. And that T-shirt will be had at store.allcitynetwork.com. That's where you go find any of the T-shirts we have, any of the sweatshirts we have. I know that Stay Shiesty hoodie is out there and very popular. This Nolan Ryan one has been a good hot seller for us as Nolan is punching old Robin Ventura there in his cranium. So anyway, we have, I think, 50 plus shirts, including the new ones that mimic or repeat our sports over everything, our new motto, our new mantra. So anyway, Store.All City Network is the place to go. You get the shirts there, or we've got shot glasses and coffee mugs and flags and all kinds of things. And they're not just for the pro teams. We've got, colleges there, TCU, SMU. I think I got a Texas Tech something or other for my son-in-law there. So anyway, store.allcitynetwork.com. All right, let's get to this cleanup segment. Our guy, we talked about this one time when you were on the show. I remember this, Mike. And we knew he wasn't coming to the Rangers because they signed Danny Jansen. So we knew at that moment that our buddy, not really my buddy, I don't know if you know him.
I don't know him.
JT Real Muto, we knew he wasn't coming because the Rangers had a catcher. He's staying in Philly.
Okay.
And he was overpriced, or what he got was more than the Rangers were ever going to be able to pay anyway. He got 3 for $45, and there's $5 million worth of incentives in each year. So if he, achieves them, and this is a guy who's been a workhorse, right? And so if most times those incentives are if you play a lot. I mean, you have to have some success too, but if he achieves those $5 million, he gets $20 million a year.
That's a lot of money. But guess
catcher.
what?
Yeah.
Not really. We just saw a guy sign for $40 to $60 million. So now when you look at $15 million, that's like a 2-WAR guy. Like I don't love WAR, by the way. I know I'm using it, but there's equations that say like if you're getting paid $15 million, your WAR for the year should be 2 or better.
Wow. I would think his is higher than 2.
Yeah.
I don't know for a fact, but again, catchers, they don't really seem to cash in.
Well, I think you have to worry about the longevity.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we have Pudge Rodriguez.
Right.
I don't know how he did it.
No.
He did it.
No.
And you just go, gosh, when they hit free agency, they're going to be close to 30 usually.
Yep.
It's just like, how many more years can they catch? You look at, I remember playing against Joe Mauer. He's a Hall of Famer.
Sure.
But I mean, it just dropped off, right? It's just like,
gone.
And that's more common because of the squatting and it's just so tough on you. And then it's mentally tough on you too. They become great managers usually, but you have to put up with us crazies. Yeah. The pitchers. Yeah. And you have to figure out our crazy brains.
Especially
and in today's
the
lefties. Game, you have to figure out 30 of those pitchers and 10 crazies like me, the lefties. Yeah. And you have to deal with that and know all the scouting reports. And, you know, I think it gets tough to be like, hey, we love this guy, but how long-term do we want to commit, especially once you get to that 30, 31? I think you look at other positions and you get to kind of 34, 35 and go, we're a little bit scared of this number age-wise. Yep. I think catchers, it's even a younger number.
Yeah, and, you know, you make a great point. Like Pudge was such an outlier. I remember, you know, numbers and, you know, we didn't have analytics then, but sort of the day's analytics told Tom Schiefer, we better not sign him at like 99, right? Yeah. His best days as a catcher are behind him. And that's when you remember this as a fan, I'm sure. The Sign Pudge bumper stickers came out, and everybody had a bumper sticker, Sign Pudge. And then they still weren't going to sign him. And finally, he walked into Tom Schiefer's office and said, my mom told me to come in here and talk to you, and I just really want to be a Ranger. And they signed him, you know, like, you know, great story about, you know, Pudge.
I didn't know about him coming into the office.
Walked right into the office and just did it. Probably could have gotten more on the open market, but wanted to stay as a Texas Ranger. Then, of course, ultimately he did leave, and he never regrets that because his 1 year in Florida, he won a World Series.
And then Detroit, he went to a World Series.
In Detroit, he went to a World Series. So anyway, and then he came back to the Rangers, by God, for at least a little time in 2009. So anyway,
David Murphy always tells me, he's like, man, that Pudge Rodriguez took my number.
Oh, that's so
He gave it back
funny.
For just a little bit.
That's
and then
right.
I got 7.
What was he wearing in the meantime, I wonder?
I'd have to ask him. I forget. I just remember that when Pudge came back, he's like, Pudge has to wear 7.
Oh, yeah, I got to give Pudge 7. Yeah. Absolutely. So there was the 3-team trade involving the Angels, the Reds, and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Angels end up with Josh Lowe, our buddy Nathaniel Lowe's brother, who's had some injury problems, but I think he was actually a regular major league player a little bit ahead of Nathaniel, or maybe Nathaniel was a little bit ahead.
I would have to look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And then anyway, Gavin Lux and some other guy are going to Tampa Bay, and the Reds get our guy who is our buddy, Brock Burke.
Yeah, lefty.
Lefty, yeah.
I will say this, Angels, since they're in our division, I don't think they can win the division, but I do think they can be a lot better. I kind of like Grayson Rodriguez, who they got from Baltimore. If he comes back healthy, that was a guy people were comparing to Jacob deGrom when he came up.
Wow.
Now, that's probably too high a praise, and he blew out his arm, and we'll see how he comes back from that. Obviously, the Orioles, I assume, believe he's never going to be the same because they didn't really get much for him.
Right.
But, man, the Angels, I like that Zach Neto kid at shortstop a lot. I kind of am looking at him going – it's not a bad-looking team. Like, that's a team that could fight for 500 or maybe a few games over. I'm not predicting they would make the playoffs or win the division, but all of a sudden a team that kind of looked like, hey, you're playing them 12 times. Let's beat them 9 out of 12. Okay. I think it could be tougher.
Here's a quickie on that, and I'm getting off of this for a minute, but we got time. Fangraphs came out with the prediction of win totals for the for really all 6 divisions, but American League West was the one that we were most interested in, and it had the Mariners winning it with 90. And I think it had the Astros maybe at 85. And then it had the A's at 78.
Okay.
And the Rangers at 77. And frankly, I don't remember looking to see what the Angels had after that.
Yeah.
But, 77 wins. I don't know. I mean, that hurt my feelings. But it can go either way, can't it? I mean, that would be 85 losses.
I'll be the optimist here and not saying that it's a betting line. They're smarter than I am.
Yeah.
Did anybody think the Blue Jays were going to be good at baseball last year?
No, everybody thought they were going to be bad.
That being said, they had some young guys step up tremendously. Vlad Guerrero took a step into MVP consideration. So there's a lot that has to go right for the Rangers. And depth-wise, I'm scared of the Rangers' depth right now.
Yeah, it's true.
And there's time to kind of sign those lower-tier free agents to help out with depth. And I know Chris Young and Ross Fenstermaker are working hard. They do have a budget to work with. But right now, that number of 77.5 wins, I just look at the depth and go, okay, let's just – Evaldi's going to miss some starts. He just does.
Right.
Who's going to start for him when he misses starts? And other guys are going to get dinged up too. Like, where's the depth to help you out? For 162 games, the goal is to win 90.
Yeah.
To make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got to have depth to win 90.
Where's Aryasevich? I mean, like how much did he help the Blue Jays down the stretch? The Rangers might need a guy like that, but they'd need him sooner than when Yasevich got to the Blue Jays. I mean,
true. And the Yasevich for the Rangers is Rocker.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, that's who he has to be. Yeah. He has to come in, and Rocker has to be the guy that you saw as a freshman at Vanderbilt. We're like, oh my gosh, he is going to be a 10-time All-Star. And like that's exaggerating, but like when you saw him that freshman year, like he's going to be awesome. Yeah,
and I don't like to put a lot of stock in those betting lines because there are so many that they get wrong every year. And I do think my optimism is based a lot too on the Skip Schumacher effect, right? I mean, he obviously brings a completely different vibe to this thing. So we don't really know what this team is going to look like that much this year anyway. So. All right, let's say you're a card guy, so let's get to these real quick.
Okay.
How about the first Alex Bregman card that has been produced? Look at there. Is that worth anything to you, Mike?
Tops now are okay. Those are cards that they can produce. They make zillions of dollars off of them, Tops. They just immediately produce them after a game is over with a special
signing
moment.
In this case.
Signing.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Cubs fan that definitely wants that card. I mean, it's kind of luck of the draw. You have to buy a whole bunch of you can't just buy that card.
Yeah.
You have to buy let's say 100 of the Tops Now cards for $4 a piece. So you're going to spend let's say $400 to get 100 of them, and you're hoping that one of those is one of one. There's a Dirk Nowitzki. He just had a Tops one that came out, and Dirk's going to be my favorite athlete of all time.
Yeah.
For my all time.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to get a special one. Didn't, but now I have 20 more Dirk Nowitzki cards.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's nothing bad with that. Yeah. It's your favorite guy. Here's another one. I like this. Aces. Also Tops, though. But that's a cool-looking card, Mike.
All aces are awesome. They are tough to get. They also have all kings. All kings are position players. All aces are pitchers.
That's cool.
I kind of regret it. There was one that came up that was Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
Rangers.
In a Rangers hat, yeah.
And I was thinking about it. Somebody bought it while I was thinking
And, what was that?
It was after eBay fees, it was about $90, which was a pretty good price on that card.
Yeah, so if you get one of those, you got something. And finally, I want to mention this. The USA, in the World Baseball Classic, there are games just down the road in Houston. They're playing some of those games at Daycon Park. Pool B is there from March 6th through the 11th. And get this, the USA-Mexico game already sold out.
When you go back and watch highlights, I get the World Series, especially Game 7. It doesn't get much better than that in the history of baseball.
Right.
Well, you go back and watch highlights of those games, whether it's Dominican versus Venezuela, those games in Miami and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't get a better. It is like
the atmosphere.
Yeah, it is like being at an AFC or NFC championship game because the Super Bowl is a little different.
Yeah,
it's more corporate. But my gosh, it doesn't get more hysterical at a baseball game than the World Baseball Classic.
That's fantastic, and they're going to be, like I say, and there's quarterfinals in Houston too, March 13th and 14th. So we'd cross our fingers that the U.S. is at least in the quarterfinals. So that could be cool. It's the U.S., Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil.
Are any Rangers playing in this?
Well, we don't think so. But
I don't
we
think
talked about this yesterday. They're still considering it, but I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this. In a way, it's not a bad thing because that means the Rangers congeal as a team.
That's right, and that's one of the reasons CY is, especially with a new manager and everything else. I think he's reluctant to have guys miss out on that all-important time in spring training. Yeah. So anyway, awesome to have you in, man. We appreciate you.
Did it again.
Mike. Great show again. We keep fooling them. We appreciate you, of course. Love having all this chatter in the chat. And Mike will be back sometime soon. He might be in for me in the near future. We'll see about that. And if not, he'll be back in for Jeff, maybe when he's at spring training. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us today. And we'll see you again Monday through Friday with the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.